I gotta stop doing those intros like that, don't I? Here's a person I guarantee you've never heard about. I guarantee you've never heard about him. Yeah? So, these are best books. I think this is video number 4, recommendation. Now, these are only 3 of his books. If I took all of his books, they would stack up about 5 feet high. So, there are a lot. About 25% of those are significantly better than the rest, but this guy was extremely prolific. He was, let's use it loosely, a German goober, right? A not very intelligent sort of, very, very simple dude. We would actually call him like a German redneck. And I'm half German. I'm not, making fun of country folk or nothing like that. I value wisdom, not empirical knowledge. Huge difference between episteme and gnosis, i.e. wisdom. Anyway, he had a beatific vision while out in the countryside. Just a simple farmer dude. Beatific vision in the countryside of Deutschland there. And from that is a wellspring of the most beautiful philosophical importance. Oy! Really, really, really good stuff. By the way, this is how I talked to the connection to this. You'll love this story, by the way. I got to tell this story. The reason, when, and how I talked to Nicolas Cage, the Hollywood actor. There's a town in Deutschland, Germany, called Görlitz. Yeah, it's basically like a little podunk, tiny town in Germany. And every year they were getting anonymous donations of a lot of money. And the only thing attached to it was, like, you got to use this money for, like, restoration of the architecture, the old architecture, making the city better and what. They couldn't figure out where this money was coming from. I knew where this money was coming from because of... not that I watched the Jay Leno show. Jay Leno was making fun of Nicolas Cage because he collects comic books. And that pissed Nicolas Cage off, and Nicolas Cage said to Jay Leno, well, not everybody reads 16th century German mysticism. In other words, he was basically saying to Jay Leno, hey, boy, just because I collect comic books doesn't mean I'm an idiot. I read hardcore German mysticism from the 16th century. And there's only one 16th century German mystic, and it's this guy, Jakob Bumma. Okay, I don't know if you've never heard of his name. You look up Jakob Bumma. You say Jacob, you say Jakob Bumma, B-O-E-H-M-E. So anyway, since I digitized the works of Jakob Bumma, I reached out to his publicist, and I said, hey, I'm not trying to, I'm not a Hollywood chaser or nothing like that. I said, I know Nicolas Cage is a huge fan of Jakob Bumma, because I know. And I said, just let him know I've got his works, the works of Jakob Bumma digitized, and just tell him, I'll give them to him for free as a down. No strings attached. I don't want his autograph or nothing like that. So anyway, Nicolas Cage reached out to me. This was many, many years ago. And like, oh, thank you. I said, yeah, surprised you knew who it was. So anyway, the cat came out of the bag that Nicolas Cage was the guy making secret donations to the town of Görlitz. But that's completely peripheral to this. I thought that was a cute story, though. Anyway, this is Mysterium Magnum. It's a 2-volume set, and the other one is the threefold Life of Mysterium Magnum. This is really, really good stuff. If you want to fine-tune your mind like sharpening a knife on a whetstone, which is a sharpening stone, this is the stuff to read. Okay, the threefold Life of Man. This is really good stuff. I actually do not doubt that this guy had a unific vision, because he was just like a simple farmer dude. A very, very simple... Yeah, but what he was able to write and produce, this stuff is really, really hardcore good. And quite a bit of this stuff is available for free download out there on the internet. Just type in Jakob Bumma PDF, right? Like read an article of it before maybe you buy a book. But I cannot give this stuff a higher recommendation. You never hear about this. You'll never see this in a bookstore. You'll never hear anybody talk about this guy. This guy is brilliant. Really, really brilliant. I talked about this ages ago. This is a book by a book by Anandakirti Kumaraswamy. It's called Time and Eternity. Time and Eternity. There'll be somebody in the comments section below will probably leave a link to the download to this book. Time and Eternity. Everybody should read this book. It's about the premise of time and eternity from the perspective of the Greeks, the Indians, and you know, other cultures of the world. Really, everybody should read this book. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. This is, if you don't read this and own this, I think you're a fool. By the way, I was friends with Anandakirti Kumaraswamy's son, who is Dr. Ramapi Kumaraswamy, who gave me the rights to all of his father's works. He said, only one condition, you got to give them away for free. I was like, well, of course I am. So I have been doing that. Here's 2 books. There's like 1,000 different translations of both of these, and everybody should own these. And there's probably I don't think, there's 1,000 translations of these for free online, most of which are not that good, so you got to find the good stuff. I think this one is, this one is Swami Abhedananda, A-B-H-E-D, Ananda. No, this is Swami Jagadananda. Swami Jagadananda, J-A-G-A-D, Ananda, A-N-A-N-D-A. This is the 1,000 teachings of Sri Sankaracharya. This is the Upadisa Sahasri, which I know you can't spell that out. It's okay. Upadisa, just type in 1,000 sayings by Sri Sankaracharya or Sankara. You can find it on Sri Sankaracharya or Sankaracharya or Sankara, S-A-N-K-H-A-R-A. Yeah. This is the founder, not the founder really, Advaita Vedanta existed before Sri Sankaracharya. This is what we call the gold, the mana, the platinum. This is it! I state this, a little bit of humor there, sorry about that. This is explicitly the good stuff. I think you're a fool if you don't read this. I mean, I really do mean that. Everybody should read this. I've got 6 or 7 different translations. I had to rebuy this book 3 times because I broke it, because it's an Indian. You always know Indian books because they smell. They're all printed by Manolharlal Mantilal Banarsidas or Manshiro Manolharlal. This one is printed by who gives a darn who was printed by? Manshiro Manolharlal Mantilal Banarsidas. I think the Advaita Vedanta Society reprinted this one, but really, really pure gold. This is the sort of pure gold where you would take a perfect translation of it and print it and hang it around your neck inside of a gold charm sort of perfection. This is pure monism from the perspective of the Indians. This is the gold. This is the platinum. And also, too, by the same author, Sri Sankaracharya, it's the Vivachudamuni. Yeah, Vivachudamuni. Yeah, I think this one, I can remember. This is Advaita Vedanta Ashram. This one was translated, I forget by who. I've got so many different, Swami Madhavananda, the Vivachudamuni. There's also, too, Vedanta Press. I got like 5 or 6 copies of this, of various different translations. Or I just read the Romanized Sanskrit. I prefer to read the Romanized Sanskrit rather than the Devanagari. There's Devanagari in here and the English translation right underneath it. The Vivachudamuni, let you copy it there. This is by Vedanta Press Society, which is based out of Hollywood, California. I've been there many times. The Vivachudamuni. There's also, too, a satellite Advaita Vedanta ashram in San Francisco when I lived there with my wife. Absolute pure gold. Sorry, my throat's a little dry. No, I'm not suffering from a virus and my throat's dry. Excuse me, sorry for coughing. Now, I have zero respect, less than zero respect for navel-gazing, Western existentialist, navel-gazers. They're just empiricists. This is not one. This is FWJ Shelling. This guy was brilliant. There are more than a few books by his. These are, excuse me, damn, my throat is really dry. I need a glass of water. Top recommendation, these 2. This one is a philosophical inquiry into the nature of human freedom. This is absolute pure gold. Reading this alone will fine-tune your mind like a clock. This is like getting a black belt in karate lessons for intellectual, intelligent, linear, analytical, wise thinking. Reading this stuff is second to none. It's not dry material either. Oh, I can't even express to you how good the works of FWJ Shelling are. And this is the first outline and system of the philosophy of nature. Okay, the first outline of a system of the philosophy of nature. This is almost as concise and pithy as Roger Boscovich's Theoria Philosophiae Naturalis, Theory of Natural Philosophy. You could flip to anything in here, and it's absolute pure gold. It just will light your mind on fire. In that which corresponds us to a sensibility in the whole of non-organic nature, there must be truly the only identity in duplicity, duplicity and identity. What else could be in polarity? Precisely the decisive feature of organization, but not in the identity of duplicity, or duplicity in identity, the characteristic of the whole universe. Anyway, that was the slightly tougher section I probably shouldn't have read, but most of it's not that. That wasn't tough to me, but some people might think it'd be tough. It's also quite conceivable that because the empirical constitution of matter, which is cause of gravity, goes to infinity, no body exists to which one could first communicate the construction. It is necessarily the case that in searching for the construction which experiments, nothing can be discovered about the cause of gravity or Earth towards the sun or parts of the earth. Really, really good stuff. I don't know of anybody that hates Shelling. Everybody loves him that has a half a brain. I've never heard anybody ever, say anything against Shelling. It's not as good as reading the Viva Chudamuni or the Upadesa Sahasraya by Sri Sankaracharya, obviously. So, this is about honing your mind. This is pure gold. The material is pure gold. The material in this is a little better than pure silver, but as far as honing and sharpening your mind, black belt karate lessons for your mind, it is definitely Shelling. Plotinus, of course, would be foremost. Then Kumaraswamy. Yeah, but Jakob Bumma, I guarantee you've never heard about Jakob Bumma. It is an absolute sin. Yeah, an absolute sin that nobody's heard about Iragina. Nobody's heard about Kumaraswamy. Most people have never heard about Plotinus. And none of you have heard about Jakob Bumma. Like, that's unbelievable. I guarantee there's not one American in 10 million that has any idea who Jakob Bumma is. Unbelievable. You can always tell what people know or understand by the trash that they recommend you read. They have never read wise stuff at all. All they do is read trash and comic books and play video games. I mean, they have a mind that's made out of jello and lukewarm pudding. It's just, they're jellyfish intellectually. Jakob Bumma is so incredible. Christian mystics love reading Jakob Bumma. And like I said, you could download some free articles and even a few books by Jakob Bumma online. So check that material out. And there'll be people leaving comments below, to be sure, as they always have, on links to these authors and these books. Okay? Thanks. Bye.